Hi everyone, so today we're making a cat toy, but it's not one of my normal yarn ones, and it's not as simple as some might have been. This is a little more complicated, but it's not that bad. It's still pretty easy. It's this little pizza. You can't smell it, but here. There's catnip inside of it, so yeah. The cats might not like it because it's a pizza, but if your cat likes catnip, they'll still like it. And since it's felt, there's a possibility that if you give it to them and they go too nuts on it, that they'll just shred it to bits and it'll be gone in like 5 minutes and all your hard work will be out the window. But yeah, I haven't actually given it to my cat yet. I just let him sniff it and he liked it, but I didn't have to give it to him because I wanted to keep it nice for the video. So yeah, this is what I'm making. You're gonna need a needle and thread, catnip. Obviously, I just have this big stuff. It's organic, whatever that means. It's just this big bottle, and obviously I haven't used very much. I've given it to them a lot. It just doesn't go away very fast. You'll need scissors, and you'll need felt in like tannish for the crust, yellow for like cheese, and then whatever color for your toppings. I used red because it's supposed to be like pepperoni, but you can use green for vegetables or black for black olives, or you could just skip it completely and have yellow cheese pizza, and it would look like that. I just chose pepperoni. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to cut out one little rectangle of this, but you want to do this one after. Cut out the 2 yellow triangles. I already cut all them in pieces because it's just easier. So yeah, these are the 2 yellow triangles. And you want to cut them out, then cut out the rectangle, because you'll make sure the rectangle is the same height, same width across as or pretty close at least, as the top of the yellows. And then you need 3 little red circles right here. 1, 2, 3. Those are your pepperonis, or whatever you want your toppings to be. As you can see, since the pizza is kind of small, you can only really fit like 3 or 4 things. So I just did 3 because I like how it looks. So yeah, cut all those out and then come back to the video. Now you have your pieces all cut out. We can start sewing it together. What you're first going to do is just take your brown piece and your one piece of yellow and just set them aside for the moment. We don't need them. You just decide which of your yellows is going to be the front of your pizza and have your toppings is what you need to do now. Right here. And then just screw this across the room almost. And you need to also figure out where you want your toppings to sit. So you can always adjust it as you go, but you want to sort of figure out a rough idea. I sort of like that. They're pretty much the same, but this is just what I like. And then just start with one, whichever one you want. I'm going to start with this one top one, and then put your other 2 to the side. And then take your needle and your thread. I already have some thread on my needle from doing the other pizza because I just didn't use it all up. I'm going to use that for pepperoni because you don't need a whole lot. But what you want to do is, you see I have 2 ends right here. And then I have it just looped through my needle. This makes it double, so it'll just put a little more support into it, and your cats have less of a chance of ripping it. Still a chance, but less. So you want to just tie a knot in the end right here too, because then there's a loop and you can loop it through itself, and then you won't have to knot it. What you want to do is figure out your pizza. You want to come in through the back, and then stick it straight through like that. You see that? And then you pull it through. Don't pull all the way through because you're still not attached yet. And then you go right back out, and you could just stitch back right straight to the pepperoni, but I like to stitch out into the cheese part. Like this. You see how I did the stitching on this one? The pepperonis. I'm going to be doing it the same as this pretty much. And then you want to figure out where your knot is. See, it's right there. And then stick this through right there in that loop, and then pull it and it'll hold itself together. You could probably want to use a different color thread than black for this. I'm just using black because it's easier to show it to you. So you could use red for stitching the pepperonis on, and then yellow for stitching the rest of it together if you wanted. If you have all that. Black looks fine too in my opinion. And then you go in the back, and you go sort of like over us a little ways like that. You see how I just did 4 stitches in each? Sort of like straight across another, but sort of not because it's a mess. Because I don't really care what it looks like. My cats are going to just kill it in 5 seconds anyways. And you just stick it right through like that. And then you just stick it right back through like you did before. Just like that, but just in the cheese. Like that. And then you want to go straight across from your first stitch, basically. As close as you can get. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, like that. And pull it through. Stick it back through above in the cheese. Just like that. And then go straight across from your second stitch, or close, doesn't matter. Like that, and then stick it back above the cheese. And now you have stitched on one pepperoni. And then you can just tie the thread together, cut it off, and move on to the next pepperoni. You do the exact same thing, so I'm going to do them off camera and then come right back with the other pepperoni stitched on. So now you have your pepperonis or toppings on. We can take the other piece of it. You don't need this one till the very end, but don't lose it because you still going to need it. You can lay them like this, back to back, or front to front, or however you cut them and line them up. Just figure out make them line back up together. I think it goes this way. Yeah. And you just hold it. You don't need this to be perfect, so you don't really need pins. You can just hold it and stitch, which is what I did for this one, and it turned out fine. But if you feel more comfortable with pins, just take some pins and pin it together if that's what you want. I just don't feel like using pins something this small. It doesn't have to be perfect. It'll still be fine to me. So what you need now, I used up all the thread for these, so now I need to cut more thread. And just unroll a bunch, and it's better to have too much than not enough, because it just is, but don't also have too much. It's better to have too much, but also you don't want to have too much, because otherwise it'll get tangled and it's all become knots. If that makes any sense. You don't want too much, but you do want too much. I hope so. My needle, my yarn, my thread right through my needle. Same as before, where it's doubled like this. And then just bring the ends together and knot them together. Just like that. And I got a hair knotted into it. How did I do that? I don't know. So yeah, you go like that. And then you just pick a side. Doesn't really matter. You can go this way and this way, or this way. You can go this way and this way, or this way and this way. But you want to leave the top open for now, because that's where you're going to put, the part you're going to put the catnip in, and then we'll put this in, and we'll stitch it closed. That makes sense. So you just pick top corner, and then you go down, and then back up. Whichever one you want. I'm going to do the same as I did the other one, and start at this one right here, because I just feel like it. I don't know why. And you can do many different stitches. As you can see for this one, I just did a normal in and out stitch for the whole thing. But you could do a round and then back through like this stitch if you wanted. You could even get fancy and do like a blanket stitch or something if you wanted. This one I want to make it different just because, like, obviously you can't do the around stitch for this part because you have this. But I'm going to do the around stitch for this one on the other one just to see how it turns out so I can show you. But yeah, so you can do whatever. It's just for the top you have to do a fairly normal stitch because it's just harder because of the crust. And then, so since I'm doing this, since I'm going around, if you were going just straight in and out, you go back in and then you stick it through this. But since I'm going around, I'm going to just stick it straight through this like this and then pull it tight. Just pull it through that little loop in front of my knot. And that'll hold it together. And you can cut this thread off later, or you just leave it and you can use it to tie everything off when you get all the way around to the end. That's what I usually do. So then I'm going to just go in from the front. I'm going to go in the front now. I don't know why, I just chose that. And then I'm going to wrap around, and then in, this is the front. So in, and wrap around. And then in, and wrap around, but I'm not doing a blanket stitch, so I'm making sure not to go through my own thread like that. So I'm just doing it so it looks like that. The top little part is weird because they have this right here, but the bottom two are weird and it look like the rest of the way around. And in and around. in, and around. And you just basically just stitch all the way around, and whatever stitch you choose to use, it's up to you. It'll just look a little different depending on which one you do. Also, it would look even better if you used like matching thread. I'm just, of course, doing this for you guys so you can see what it looks like. You basically just keep stitching. No real self-explanatory for this part. So I'm going to stitch this off camera because it's just easier and I don't have to keep talking and boring all of you. So, once you get all your stitching all the way around, you're all the way back to the other side, done like this. Next step to do, you gotta put the catnip in it. What you gotta do, you gotta kind of just open it like this so you can get in there. And then you take your catnip, whatever form you have. I have this, it's big stuff, so it takes less to put in there, because you can see it's like big chunks. But it's a shaker bottle thing, so it's hard to just get it in there. So the best way for me is to unscrew the lid. Be really careful not to spill this all over my room, and then just pinch some into there and make sure I get enough in there without making a big mess all over my bed. Because I don't want that much I don't want to sleep with catnip. Also, if my cats come in my room, they will try to attack my bed because it will smell yummy to them. Because they like catnip. Make sure I put in enough so they like it. You know, just a little bit if I make them like it. I put in more this time than I did last time. But right now, it'll look like thick a little bit. But you also gotta have it all shoved down to the bottom for the time being. So that you can stitch in the top and then it can even itself out. So that's all the catnip you really need. So you kind of want to just reach in there and just shove it all towards the bottom as much as you can. So it'll be like real thick right here and then real thin right here. But that's how you need it to be right now. You can squish it around and even it out later. I put way more in this one, I think, than I did this one, but it's fine. So next thing I do is take your little piece of brown felt. You have to leave a little bit of an opening sort of right here. So you kind of just stick this in there. And you can pin it if you'd like, but I'm just going to hold it like I did everything else. And then you just take your needle and you just stitch straight through and make sure you hit the brown enough that it won't just instantly not be attached. So I just stitch right through. Just like this. Just make sure you hit the brown is the goal. Make sure you stitch enough that it's not gonna like just come undone or the catnip not just gonna fall right out. That wouldn't be fun. That would make it too easy for the cats. If you don't shove it in very far, it'll be harder to attach the brown in there, so now you gotta just shove it in a little farther. And try and make your stitches neat, but don't spend too much time on that, because if your cat just does just shred it, like I positively think mine shall, you don't want to waste a long time on it. So once you make it, you might want to like take pictures of it next to your cat and stuff before you just let them have at it, because it might not be cute afterwards. You just keep stitching all the way across. Be right back. Sorry about that. You just keep right on stitching. Make sure right at the very end it's in there good too. And you just keep right on stitching right till you're all done, and then you just put a few stitches in at the end to make sure that everything is nice and secure. And then you gotta just knot it off. So to knot it off, basically, it's real simple. You just, if you left this little bit right here, you just tie them together. But if not, you just go back through. But you just go back through it, and you don't pull it all the way through, so you have two pieces right there then, and then you knot them together. But I left a little piece here so I can just tie them together. And just tie them in a few knots. It doesn't matter if your knots are visible or if they're perfect. Your cat is not going to care. As So I can be like, oh, I can't play with that. I can see it's not, and it's not perfect. You know, cat, that's something a cat would do, but since it has catnip in it, they won't care. And then when you tie enough knots that you feel like it's secure, not going to just break in 2 seconds, cut off your extra thread. And then you can just throw away your extra thread or save it or whatever. It's not enough to save, so I'm going to throw it away. So yeah, and then it's still flat right here, so you can kind of just like smush it around and try to move the catnip around more evenly in it. And make it a little bit more even, because there's less of a lump in one spot. And if it's, for some reason your crust got a little uneven and it sticks out the one side a little bit, you can just snip it. And if you think for some reason your crust ended up too tall, like I think this one's a little tall, you can just snip that off a little bit. You can just play it by ear. And there's your little catnip pizza slices. I might have only made one at one. I was probably going to only make one, but then I had to make two because I have 2 cats and they each need their own little pizzas. Aren't they so cute? Yes. So give us a thumbs up if you like cat toys, and comment down below if you want me to make more little foods for your cats with catnip. I will totally do that because it's just fun and it's really cute. So just comment down below what foods you want me to try to do. I just did pizza because it's pizza. And subscribe. Bye!